and welcome to Friday Lines. I'm your host, Luke O'Brien, aka OB. Friday Lines is brought to you by Little Birdie TV and topsport.com.au, punting form and Manscaped, all your essential items for life. Joining me today for all things AFL is MG. Welcome to you, MG.
OB, how are you?
Good, thank you, mate. And the doyen of a rugby league, Toprope. Hello to you, Toprope, up there in Orange.
Hello, OB. I believe Charles Dickens started Tale of Two Cities. They were the best of times, they were the worst of times. And after watching Origin on Wednesday night and then having no Thursday night NRL and having to watch the AFL last night, that line certainly sums up my week.
Oh, I thought the NRL was okay. I think you're being a bit harsh on it there, mate. But anyway, we'll move on. MG, the AFL has morphed into the NRL, a bit of Sunday night fight club. What do you make of all that, mate?
That's why Toprope's now interested in the AFL. He's few off-the-field punch-ons in restaurants, and all of a sudden that's right in Toprope's hitting zone. Yeah, I think it's a good cover story, OB. I'm not going to put you on the spot. We're not going to divulge too much information, but poor Maxie Gawn getting trotted out for a press conference to tell some porky pies, in my opinion. Jeez, he's not a good poker player, Maxie Gawn. I tell you what, I'd like to get him around the table one day. Melbourne have got some issues, haven't they? All of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, there's some stories flying left, right and centre, and the least of it seems to be the May Melksham kind of dust up for mine. So interesting to see how they go against Collingwood this week.
It's amazing when you start to lose, the cracks sort of appear. When you win, you sort of mask over the cracks a little bit, but the stories are coming from everywhere. There's president stories, there's coaches' stories, there's fights going on. Hopefully, I think the players just want to get out there on Monday against Collingwood and go from there. But does seem to be a few little issues sort of simmering away underneath.
Yeah, I think if they'd want to beat Collingwood this week, otherwise it'd be more than cracks. The floor might fall underneath them. So, yeah, the bookies got a big decision to make in the next probably week or two if they lose to Melbourne, how much they want to lay them as well, because right now, I can't imagine too many people are chiming in right now in Melbourne town.
And AFL Round 13 kicked off last night with Richmond and Port Adelaide at the MCG. Richmond winning by 12 points, 21,000, just under 22,000, 21,765 there last night. Shocking crowd, shocking conditions, shocking game. I think a couple of teams sort of coming off the bye or heading into the bye certainly showed last night.
Yeah, it wasn't shocking conditions. It was good conditions to play football.
Bit slippery. Bit
slippery. Yeah, I know you were down on the ground. Give me a spell. The ground, it wasn't slippery at all. The skills were deplorable. And we won't get Toprope in because he had to watch the AFL yesterday. I think it was his first game that he watched for the year, and unfortunately they did not put on a good display. Poor crowd, two teams battling to keep in pace with the 8, or Richmond and now find themselves just in the 8. Obviously, we've got some games to go, but I think the scoreboard definitely flattered Port Adelaide. 2-goal result. I think it should have been, from consensus, at least maybe 4 or 5 goals. Richmond missed some absolute shockers. None, definitely led by Bolton. I think he had 0-4 for the game. He missed 2 from borderline goal square. Not good. I think Richmond have got some upside. They've got Lynch to come back. I think they're tracking okay. Richmond, it was just a low game, wasn't it, OB? I think Port have got some real issues. They've got no offense. Their forward, the connection between their mids going into forward 50 was just non-existent. They just played right into Richmond's hands, and even though the scoreboard was close-ish, I don't think Richmond were in any danger of losing the game.
And I think they need a ruckman, so they need Lycett back in a hurry because they had Finlayson and Dixon. I thought Dixon was actually okay in the ruck. He was competitive. Finlayson was better around the ground, but they need Lycett back, so they need Dixon up forward, and then their smalls around. Not sure what's happening with Xavier Dersma. I'm not sure if he's injured or just out of form, but they just sort of they seem to have lacked a bit of a spark.
They got a few issues. Now they're 5 wins and 7 losses in the count. They got Sydney at home next week, so it's going to be probably about a pick and match at this stage. Maybe Sydney slight favourites, but if they go down 5 and 8 past the halfway mark, it might be ground too far to make up, I think.
Absolutely. NBA finals continue. Boston leading 2-1. The next game Saturday in Boston. Some injury doubt for the Warriors with Steph Curry, but I think he'll play. Just a reminder that all your betting action for the NBA can be found at topsport.com.au. Now, if anyone can get a coach sacked, it's our friend Toprope, and he's had a big week. He actually had a big day. 2 coaches in one day. Toprope, is there anyone left up there, mate?
Look, the last time you get 2 in one day, I must have been a teenager. It was a long, long time ago. It was unbelievable stuff. 2 coaches gone. Not before Origin 2, so great respect to both the Tigers and the Warriors for getting the smother in Origin time to take a couple of coaches sack. I opened up in the morning with what can only be described as a classic rugby league tale: the New Zealand Warriors coach not wanting to live in New Zealand. So, so they've orchestrated that he's left, but obviously need to get sacked after that. As someone who was once in a senior position at the New Zealand Tavern and said something similar when I worked over here for 18 months, I can certainly empathise with both Brownie and the Warriors in this situation. So, well played to Brownie for getting as long as he did out of him. Will absolutely go down in history as one of the great rugby league quirks. New Zealand Warriors coach, never stepped foot in New Zealand, coaching for 18 months. Good luck to him. And the other one, Michael Maguire, the most long, drawn out, painful execution of all time. Michael Maguire finally coached his last game. The excuses for the delay, something that should have happened at the end of last year, not because he's a bad coach, but because he clearly off for the West Tigers. Really just drawn out far too far. So they're going to be those clubs will be looking for new coaches along with Canterbury. So expect at the moment. If I was having a little bet, and unfortunately you can only bet on these things because it was once a very profitable enterprise, I'd be betting on Michael Maguire to coach the Warriors, current New Zealand Kiwis coach. So I can see him transitioning nicely there. They're after a hard ass. The West Tigers have offered a massive 5-year deal to Penrith assistant Cameron Chiraldo, so I expect he will take that job up. And heaven help us all, I don't know whether I want the Blues to be swept or make a massive comeback, but whatever will keep Brad Fittler in that New South Wales job would be ideal by me, because I reckon he's the red-hot favourite for the Bulldogs.
Oh, God. Surely there's got to be some coaches coming through. Like, I know, the Penrith assistant has been touted to every job under the sun, and finally he's going to take one. But is there anyone else coming through? Like, no. David Kidwell was touted for many years, old kitty cat, but there's no one else. Surely there's some coaches coming through from somewhere.
I'll tell you the exact moment David Kidwell's boom as an assistant future NRL coach into an assistant who will never be an NRL coach was when he coached the New Zealand national team and then forgot he had Jason Taumalolo on the bench, played him 15 minutes and admitted after the game he forgot he had him on the bench. And then not only did Kidwell get sacked, Taumalolo's playing for Tonga, and Kidwell's career as a head coach is done and dusted. So that's how David Kidwell's career ended. As an aside, having met
David Kidwell a few times and had a couple of nights out with old kitty cat, it does not surprise me in the slightest that he'd forget he had a player on the bench. Just quickly, before we get into this week's action, State of Origin Game 1 was an absolute ripper. It was sort of lights out for Queensland and for yourself there, Toprope. You had the Ric Flair Munster for man of the match at $9. He was outstanding. Next game, Game 2 in Perth on the 26th of June. So great game. Probably a little bit of an upset. Everyone was sort of tipping New South Wales, but Cameron Munster and Harry Grant sort of turned it on in the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, it was a great game. Classic Origin game. Look, even as a New South Wales fan, I've got to admit that Origin's at its best when Queensland are firing. So it's a bit like the old wrestling maxim. You want to be chasing the bad guy. And having Queensland dominate it was actually really, really good for Origin. It was a packed crowd, back to ANZ for the first time in a few years. It was fantastic rugby league. So Munster amazing. The game turned when Harry Grant got on the field. And some poor coaching decisions by Brad Fittler around the selections and even the late changes to the team probably hurt them. So I expect to see some changes for the Blues going into Game 2, which I'm sure we will discuss next week or two.
And right now it's time for Friday Lines, brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au. As MG, it's a Friday night blockbuster. Essendon versus Carlton, 7:50 Friday night at the MCG. Essendon 305, Carlton $1.40. The line 17.5, over under 163.5. Some big ins for the Blues and a big weekend for Essendon celebrating their 150th year anniversary. Any hope at the Bombers there, mate?
Yeah, they're going to need all the help and motivation they can get. I know it's their 150th and they'll be up and about for it, but I think it's just going to be a distraction too far from mine. I can't come into Essendon. 2-9 on the year. They're going terrible, and on paper, I just can't shape it any which way other than the Carlton victory here. Essendon have lost 6 of their last 7 games. They lost 3 in a row. Their offense is deplorable. They haven't scored more than 50 points in the last 3 games, OB. So I just, big ins, as you said, coming back. Stringer for Essendon will help them, especially out of the middle, maybe kicking a few goals. But Carlton get back big Harry Mackay as well. So now all of a sudden the doublehead Monsters back for the Blues with Charlie Curnow. They also get Kennedy and Martin back in. So they're just strengthened. I know they lose Wiedering down back, but I don't think for a side like Essendon's going to hurt them too much. So I'm pretty keen. The line has bounced around a bit. Open 22 here, OB. It's got down to as low as 16, 17. It popped back up to 20 yesterday, now back down to 17 this morning. So plenty of action going on in the game. But I'm pretty keen on Carlton here to get in the W. And I think minus 17.5 is a decent bet. And I also like the bit of Ric Flair for Toprope. You'll like this, maybe even Carlton the 40 plus.
Yeah, right. I think people forget how good a player Caleb Marchbank was. So, look, he's had sort of 18, 19 months out of the game, so it's going to be a bit tough for him to sort of come straight back in and come back to his best form. But he's a very good player and a good player to have back in. So, and then if they get Wiedering back and Marchbank's in some good touch, yeah, look out. They could cause a little bit of damage. Yeah. As we go to just the one NRL game tonight, it's the North Queensland Cowboys, $1.21 against the St George-Illawarra Dragons, $4.65. The line is minus 12.5, over under 40.5. I know that Hunt and Sims will play for the Dragons. I think the Cowboys are resting a couple of their Origin stars, although Valentine Holmes is still in the squad. Which way are you leaning there, Toprope?
Yeah, Jeremiah Nanai, who got hurt on debut, will miss, and Ruben Cotter, who was so outstanding in his Origin debut, will also be rested. So, the line's kind of tucked in from 13.5 to 12.5 here. Look, leaning the Cowboys, the money's come for the plus. Not a lot of confidence. It's a very, very low game, but the market's underrated the Cowboys all year. They've covered 10 of 13. They've covered 3 straight as a double-digit favourite. Dragons have covered to 7 of 21, off scoring more than 24 points. They haven't covered 5 straight night games. Leaning towards the Cowboys, a great deal of confidence in this one. If you're looking for a little bit of flair, I would be looking at Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow back for win, his best position. Him to score a try, you can get about $2.30. So I think that's definitely a bet.
As we go to the Saturday night AFL match of the round, Brisbane against the Saints. The line's $1.37, St Kilda $3.20. The line minus 18.5, over under 170.5. This market, I cannot believe. I know I'm a big St Kilda fan. I've talked them up. I don't know what they have to do to be a bit short on this, but $3.20. Brisbane coming back from the other side of the country, a hard slog, lost against Fremantle, a couple of players under injury clouds. $3.20, I'd be taking that every day of the week.
Yeah, not going to argue with you. The market's actually strengthened a bit. It opened 16, gone to 18.5. So you may get a touch better also, OB. So if you're betting the Saints, I suggest maybe wait as late as possible. Come Saturday night, the form's different. Even though it's second v fifth, and Brisbane have won 9-3, they've lost 2 straight now. So they're probably looking forward to the bye next week. But they've got a big match against St Kilda where St Kilda have won 3 straight. So as you said, off a 6-day Perth trip as well, Brisbane. Be a big test, but they are at home. They're an offensive machine. St Kilda can't go with them the offensive way, but I think with Danaher coming back, obviously helps their balance and stuff like that. So, interesting game. Not a betting game for me. I agree with you. If I was going to have a bet, I'd be going the plus side in this game at the 18. But as I said, I'd just wait at the moment, just with the way the market's trended so far. I just don't think the market will turn around. The total's just dropping a little. I'd be more inclined to back the under in this game, just at the 170.5. It's come down from 172.5. But yeah, match of the round. Looking forward to it. Probably won't get involved myself, but looking forward to it. And yes, St Kilda, this is a big game for them, isn't it? If they get over Brisbane in Brisbane. Absolutely. I think the Saints are going a bit better than what people think. I think they're around the mark. I don't think they can win it this year, but I think they're very competitive against the best sides, and I think they raise themselves to these games. I don't know what else Reece Matheson has to do. He had 49 possessions and 17 clearances in the VFL last week. Probably can't squeeze into that midfield, but he'll be the sub and come on at some stage if there's an injury. But it looks a beauty that one Saturday night. As we also look to the NRL
sort of the early or afternoon, evening game. It's the Roosters 252 against the Melbourne Storm, $1.54. The line is 4.5, over under 40 even. Top rope, this looks a beauty. The Roosters sort of have got the talent on paper. The Storm have sort of been spluttering and stuttering a little bit over the last few weeks. This looks a beauty.
Oh, absolute ripper. Really hard game to kind of figure out. We'll have to see who backs up in this one. Expecting the Storm contingent to back up. Cameron Munster's not going to miss a game. No Pat this week, but of course Xavier Coates is out hurt. He looks like he's syndesmosis in Origin. So not a massive loss in and of himself, but the depth out wide is getting pretty thin at the moment, and he did always provide that big target as well. So, look, leaning towards the Storm here. They've covered 4 straight against the Chooks. They've won their last 3 by 6 and lost. This is normally a real smash spot for the Roosters. They are exceptional for loss. They've covered 7 tonight at the SCG for loss. Melbourne, so good away from Amy Park. They've covered 25 of 36 when favoured by 6 or more. On the road, they're into 4.5 now, so they've covered 39-60 at Amy, away from Amy. So I'm going to take the Storm here, but not a huge degree of confidence. I'll probably say what MG said. This is not a betting game, but I don't have those, so we'll just call it a small betting game.
I like it. And topsport.com.au also like you saying that. A small game for you is probably a large game for everyone else. As we look to the Monday game in the AFL, Collingwood $2.80, Melbourne $1.46, the line 15.5, the over-under 161.5. We have to wait until see the final teams here, MG. But, Monday afternoon, MCG, the great Neil Danaher fundraiser as well, going down the slide for motor neurone disease. It's a great game on the AFL calendar. Looks a beauty. Collingwood are in some good form. Melbourne are out of form and a few off-field worries that might galvanise them slightly. Which way would you be leaning here?
Yeah, good fixturing by the AFL this week with the Friday game, Carlton, Essendon, and then the G, so they'll get 2 very, very good crowds. I'm not sure here. I think it's a wait and see at the moment. If you like Collingwood, you probably got to be betting early. The market opened 21.5. Obviously, there's been some off-field dramas for Melbourne to bring the betting back down, but 21 down to 15 at the moment. Right now, I think Melbourne probably just look a little cheap, but I think the market will hold. So I think this will be a really good betting game for Monday. I'm not sure. I think Collingwood probably provide the value here, OB, at this stage, just with their form. They're going okay. They're 8th on the ladder now. They've won 3 straight. This is a big test for them, but I'm not sure if Melbourne's actually not bottomed out, but you know what I mean. They've now lost 2 in a row. This is a big traditional game in front of a big crowd. So minus May as well, might test them. So Collingwood will go into this game thinking they're a real good chance, in my opinion. So, I think the value lies with the Pies in this betting game. I think the play for me in this game is definitely the under total. In my opinion, and they haven't moved too much, so there's still value in the total. I sent it out early on, I think it was Monday, the under 163.5, I think. I just think it'll definitely go into the 150s come game time. I think it's more about a mid 150 total. Melbourne won't want to give anything away. Collingwood don't mind playing a low scrap either. Big game at the MCG, a bit like last night's game. I think I could see it paying out similar than that. So slight Collingwood in the value, probably in the points margins as well. But keen on the under.
I think Melbourne might win and might win comfortably. I think they'll come out and just go, Petrarca and Oliver will say, and Gawn will say, come with me, boys, we've had enough.
All right.
But anyway, it should be a cracking game. And this one, 2:00 on Sunday, the West Tigers against the Manly Sea Eagles at Campbelltown Stadium, an absolute old-fashioned dust-up. West Tigers, 265, the Manly Sea Eagles, $1.48, the line, 6.5, over under 42.5. I love these games at traditional venues, Toprope, and this one hopefully 10th versus 13th. Hopefully it delivers a little bit more than that on paper, but I love going back to these traditional grounds.
Yeah, normally there's a fair degree of quaintness and charm and history around playing at these grounds. But alas, we're at Campbelltown this week, and it's just an absolute dump. So we probably won't get a lot of that charm out there, but in the far west of Sydney. But we will do our best. Regardless, I know I can be prone to hyperbole at times. We got one of the bets of the season in this game. One of the bets of the season. Assuming the weather's decent enough, which it looks like it will be, the over is an absolutely red-hot bet. This line is at least a try too short. The over is hit in 7 of 23 when these teams have played since 2008. 3 of the last 4 have top 58, including just 6 weeks ago. The average total since 2008, 47.5. Both these teams in big over spots. Please just give me the 42.5. And if you want a little bit of the old nature boy, the old Ric Flair, 61 plus at $9. Absolutely a bet.
61.5 points on a Sunday afternoon at Campbelltown. You've heard it here first. So
it's a Munster money being reinvested, I think.
Bit of the old head wobble, I think, from Toprope come Monday.
Please don't do that. Munster money's long gone.
Into a new boat.
We'll have a quick look at the remaining 2 games of AFL. I don't see anything doing in these games. Fremantle $1.12, Hawthorn $6.75. The line minus 39.5, over under 153.5. I think everyone will just be watching to see Nate Fyfe back out there on an AFL field. MG, not much else doing.
Yeah, good to see him back. Geez, you've dropped off your Hawks quickly, haven't you? You're done on the Hawks for the year?
Well, Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock, I can find better things to do.
I'm 30, what do we got, 32 up to 39 this line. So obviously with the teams announced, we knew Fyfe was coming back, but it's one-way traffic in this. I actually don't mind the under in this play. 156, they opened down to 153.5. I think this will, Fremantle will just lock this game down and grind out a win. I wouldn't be keen on the minus 39.5. I think Hawthorn have got a chance at the big line, a bit of weather around as well, OB, so maybe a bit of plus and definitely the under.
And the final game we'll look at is the lock-in at Marvel. North Melbourne 5.10, GWS $1.18, the line 32.5, over under 169.5. If you are going to this game, you need a good hard look at yourself. Although having said that, I do give North Melbourne a hope. I think this is one of those games they might say, we're a chance. Let's put everything on the line. They've been smashed a little bit as well over the last couple of weeks. GWS a little bit flaky at times. It could be a bit in this one.
That's the AFL marketing officer speaking there, Toprope as well. He wants to lock in. He couldn't give away free tickets to this game. Standalone Sunday game as well, so everybody will be able to enjoy their Sunday doing something else. Giants 36 down to 32, so there is some money for the Kangaroos. I couldn't have them. Their last eight games now, they've lost by 47 or more points, so very hard to come into the Kangaroos. I'd just move on to the Melbourne game for me, I think, on Monday. No tip here for the punters.
As we look at the remaining NRL games, it's the Titans and the Rabbitohs on Saturday afternoon. The Titans $2.85, South Sydney Rabbitohs $1.44. The line is 7.5, over under 43.5. Anything doing there, Toprope?
It's a bunny blast. The Titans are absolutely cast. They've covered just 6 or 7 as a home underdog. South, they have won 6 straight against the Titans. They've scored 28 or more in 6 of the last 7, won 7 straight at Seabass. This away game means little to them. I think the Bunnies will absolutely slaughter the Titans.
I like hearing that. Broncos and the Raiders is the next one. Broncos $1.51, the Raiders $2.60, the line minus 4.5, over under 41.5. The Broncos are in some good nick, and the Raiders, you just don't know what you're going to get. Any way you're leaning there, Toprope?
Yeah, confident the Raiders can cover the 4.5 and win off the stick here. Bit of Adam Reynolds back for the Broncos, but they'll be missing a couple of their origin contingent, including Payne Haas and Katoni Staggs. Raiders have won 3 on the trot. They certainly found form. They were pretty good against the Roosters last week, and they're just really good on the road as an underdog. They've covered 14 and 21 as a road dog or 4 or more. That market really tends to underrate them when they're away. So I'll be riding the Raiders pretty hard in this one.
The Knights and the Panthers, the next game. The Newcastle Knights $5.25, the Penrith Panthers $1.17, the line at 14.5, over under 41.5. A few Origin stars in this game. Will they all be playing Toprope?
No, that 5.25 is probably changing as we speak. Word just come through that Isaiah Yeo will be rested as expected after, of course, you can never question the sanctity of a doctor, but he was allowed to play with a concussion for 79 minutes and 55 seconds. So I'm not a doctor, but he sure looked concussed. He obviously won't play. Liam Martin out, and most importantly, Nathan Cleary will not play. Look, Penrith are a massive underside away from home. They're the biggest road underside I can recall seeing. They go under at 71% on the road over the last 4 seasons. So fair whack there, and now no Nathan Cleary. So if you're having a bet in this one, I'll be back in the under, and I'll be looking at the Newcastle team total under. But yeah, not a lot of confidence. Penrith tend to be overrated on the road as well, so couldn't jump into the minus, and you're a game punter if you're taking a plus. So small bet the under here.
As we go to the Stacey Jones-led New Zealand Warriors 485 against the Cronulla Sharks $1.19. The line 13.5, over under 43.5. Can Stacey Jones pull something out here for the Warriors?
I don't know what it's like in the AFL or B, but the most overrated angle in NRL betting is that the team bounces back after sacking a coach. The Warriors will get better with that Nathan Brown, no risk at all. But I don't think it's going to happen immediately. This is a game Cronulla probably want to make a statement in. They've won 14 of 18 against the Warriors. They've covered 15 of their last 18. I can't comment on the Warriors. Well, they've covered 4 of 18 and conceded 20 plus. I think the Sharks cover this, and I'll be betting the over small too. Redcliffe tends to be underground, but the Sharks are a big overside, and this is a nice over spot for the Warriors, who go over when they're a big underdog. So over and Sharks.
And the final Queen's birthday game of NRL round 14 is the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs $5.50 against the Parramatta Eels $1.15. The line 16 even, over under 43.5. Are you having a bet in this one, Toprope?
I don't want to. I certainly don't want to, because I think Parramatta will absolutely smash the Bulldogs, and I can cop betting against the Bulldogs in nearly every situation. With a team that is most confident, but Parramatta is just a deep, guttural disdain for the Eels. So, but I'm not having a bet here, but I am recommending backing the Eels with a good deal of confidence here. They've covered 10 of 14, scoring 28 plus, 9 of 12 as a road favourite of 4.5 or more. The Dogs will play 3 games under Mick Potter. They've conceded 30 plus in all of them. That's bad news against the Parramatta team that can run up a score. So, and the great Michael Sevo is back this week for Parramatta, who has historically run right against the Bulldogs. So prayers for Canterbury on this Queen's birthday holiday.
Thank you, Toprope. And a reminder to punters, you can locate the greatest game of all, GGOA, for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your NRL betting action. Toprope, thank you. Give the coaches a week off, please. No more sackings this week, and have a great weekend. MG, just a reminder, you can locate the AFL Stings also for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your AFL betting action. Much planned for the weekend, MG?
Yeah, a lot of sport. Keep me out of trouble. It's NBA continues. Got AFL, obviously rugby league. So looking forward to it.
And that's a wrap for this week's Friday Lines. Thank you, MG and Toprope. You can follow us on YouTube, find us in the Apple Store, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow at Little Birdie TV on Twitter and Instagram. Remember, all your footy betting action can be found at topsport.com.au. We'll be back next Friday, but don't forget to join Nikki on Monday for the first look with all the weekend's action in review. Punt well, punt responsibly, and have a great weekend, punters.